Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, citizens of all ages, welcome back to another edition of Star Citizen. Yeah, I did a little bit of a pun or a play on words now with that little echo. Also trying to stand in for Aegis, you know, Aegis, considering that was going to be one of the, is going to be one of the manufacturers that is going to be in the spotlight on November 25th. As such, I thought I would also hop in my Aegis Titan Renegade. I've had people asking me, you know, about the Renegade and what it's like, and you know, its stats and how it flies, and it's literally basically an Avenger Titan that's blue, blue and yellow. It also has an update. Well, it has a different loadout, not updated. Well, I don't know what the fuck I was saying there. First, let me preface before I go any further. My sincerest apologies if I bumble, mumble, or fuck up more than normal. I've had a really long, really rough, really shit-tastic day. So please bear with me and please accept my apologies. So, I've got some interesting confirmations from one of my sources in the Evocati test flight. The confirmation that I have is they are currently testing 100 players in server and actually have somewhat decent frame rates. My source told me that the FPS is anywhere from 7 up to 65, but with a generalized average between 30 and 60. How awesome is that? As you might have seen from some of my previous videos, I would have been completely happy if the server held less people than that, but would stay at a constant 60 to 30. Hell, if it was just at 30, but it was guaranteed. Oh wait, what the hell? Yeah, okay, I see. I told you, my brain, it's all fucked up. If there was a player count of 10 to 12 with a guaranteed frame rate of 30 to 45, I would take that. But if they can get 100 players, that's gonna be amazing. I can only hope, as again, this is speculation, things are bound to change, they are still just doing, you know, testing. It is the Evocati test flight. You know, just because they're playing around with 100 people, that is not a confirmation that it's going to stay at 100 people. They might be able to do a little bit more optimizations and, you know, cut some corners here and there. Well, that's a bad terminology. They're really not cutting corners. They're putting a lot of hard work into this game. But if they were able to, you know, get even just a smaller number with that high frame rate, I would be stoked. I would be beyond stoked. I don't think we need 100 players yet. You know, maybe if they even just bumped it up to 30 and had the frame rates between 30 and 60. Well, let's call it 45 to 60. Because if they got 100 and they're able to bounce around the 60 mark, they should be able to throw in 30 people and be able to keep it sticking at 60. That would make me a very happy boy. That would be, I mean, that would just be amazing. So, what was the other thing? So I have an unofficial time window as to when PTU might be released. So again, from the Evocati test flight source that I have, they said that depending on how well testing goes in the next couple of days, we might be able to see a PTU test universe for around early to mid-December. Now, reason being is because in the test server currently in Evocati, for the past 7 days up to you know, the day of which I'm recording, they've been doing a lot of stress testing with the cargo, with the trade system for like commodities buying and selling. They also they gave all the players 25 million UEC so they could go around and really, you know, buy whatever they wanted to further the testing process. They also stated that the Dragonfly is flying a lot better physics-wise than in previous 3.0.0 patches. The Nox is still funky. They're saying how it sometimes will flop to the sides. If you hit a boulder while going really fast, it can throw you into like a barrel roll that you can't control. What else was there? They were saying how everything is starting to come together really, really well, and they had to do focused testing on the ship, cargo, and the buying and selling, and on the God, now I can't think of what the goddamn things are called. The terminals. There's a better word that they were using, but for lack of a better at the moment, on the terminals where the players were selling things, I think it's the ASOP.
Big mistake.
I lost my train of thought. Oh, they basically said it is all but feature complete. There's just a little bit of bug work to squash, a little bit of, you know, making sure that things look the way they're supposed to. But other than that, it is more or less feature complete. So basically one step closer to having 3.0 in our hands, which I can't be happier about. Well, I could be happier, and that's if it came out and I had it. But short of that, pretty damn good news. There was also news that there's going to be a new concept during the anniversary sale, possibly this upcoming Thursday or Friday, and if you haven't figured it out, it does in fact seem like it's going to be an anvil ship. What it'll be and what its role is still up for debate, but given that Anvil is or was the military contractor, and they've been trying to get that role back from Aegis, that it could be another fighter or bomber type ship, but something with a little bit more capabilities than the norm. Want it to be something that kind of shakes the game up a little. Well, I shouldn't say it like that because it's kind of false. But to try to give it more than just a singular, or you know, not much more than singular. Oh my fucking god! What is like abilities? Sweet evil Jesus, tap dancing Christ. Why can't I English? Like I've severely brained my damage. So please, again, I reiterate, forgive me. Long day, crazy day. But so Evocati seems like they are making great progress, and keep your fingers crossed for 3.0 arriving hopefully within this year. Now, even though the insider on the Evocati has given me a very rough approximation for a window timeline of a PTU release, I'm actually kind of doubting it. I mean, admittedly, you know, he is playing it so he would know, but they were saying, back to the Nox, that it doesn't work very well on terrain that isn't like smooth, flat asphalt, where the Dragonfly has gotten to a much better state where it can, in fact, go off-road and tends to handle the off-road better. They even did a name drop of one of the outposts, Deacon, but it was spelled strangely. It was like D-E-A-K I-O-N or something, or like Deacon. It was something to that effect. But apparently at this Deacon or Deacon outpost, there is a racetrack. Now, I know, and if you don't, but I know that in one of the jump points and on one of the ATVs, they were saying that they, you know, purposely went back and added in a racetrack on one or more of the moons. I don't remember if it's more, but on at least one of the moons, so that way, you know, people can take their newly acquired bikes of whichever manufacturer, whether it be the Nox from Aopa, the Dragonfly from Drake, or the X1 from Origin, that you'll be able to, well, have decent speeder bike races. Now, I'm not sure if the X1 will be in 3.0, but I do have confirmation that the Dragonfly and the Nox are going to be in 3.0. So, even if it is just those two, I will be happy, because the Nox looks really cool, and I kind of dig that the Dragonfly has room for a second person. So you get a second person on there with a railgun, and you could have quite the effect on people, on an area, on an outpost, on a group, on a vehicle. I mean, that Nox seems to go really, really fast. It's also been confirmed that if the Nox gets high enough off the ground, it basically goes from hover to flight mode. Now, that's all the information I have in terms of that snippet, but that opens up some questions, like, if it goes into flight mode, are we now able to fly straight up? I mean, obviously we can't go through the Atmo, as we'll burn up or something, or, you know, a kill trigger will occur. But maybe it'll have some light functionality of verticality. If you've seen the Gamescom, if you saw the Gamescom demo, when they were flying around on the Nox, it actually seems like you have a little bit of verticality that you can take advantage of. And by that, I mean, it seems like if you're flying along and quite possibly are pressing space, that the vehicle will ascend. Now, it's not going to ascend to the same degree as, you know, something like my Saber Comet here, but it does give you that ability to have jumps, or to create your own jumps if there's no ramps, as well as a way to help avoid obstacles. The best way to see that is if you go back to the Gamescom demos, and when they're flying around on the Noxes, at one particular point, I think it was Gamble, Sergeant Gamble, as he was careening off the Armistice Zone, he almost slammed into a giant boulder, and there was nothing else around. Well, I mean, there were little rocks around, but he very obviously made a conscious decision to go above it. And I actually pointed that out in my org and on one of the Facebook pages, and people were like, oh, holy shit, you're right. Because, I'm not gonna lie, I never even thought of that ability being in there. being able to ascend vertically, just even if it is just a little, but to help avoid obstacles. Now, I believe the Dragonfly and the X1 are going to have a somewhat similar mechanic, where they too will be able to have a slight jump of verticality, and I am just all the more excited now to try that out on the 3.0 patch. Again, apologies, I've brained my damage, I'm trying to work through it. Now, for some 3.0 Evocati somewhat not good news, aka bad news. I do have some bad news to bring about 3.0 and some of the missions. So, given the Evocati is still testing, they have not been given the green light to do combat testing. So there's no PvP technically going on. I mean, it's available. You could theoretically go out there and start shooting people, but SIG doesn't want that at the moment because they're doing the wider testing. Now, with that, they were saying how certain missions, certain beloved missions, are no longer available, at least in the current patch of 3.0 that Evocati are playing with. Now, those missions are the security guard mission at Security Post Korea, and there's not as many comm arrays, and the thing that was probably the biggest blow is there's no ICC missions. So Tessa Bannister, our favorite junior cartographer, seems to have been fired. Well, maybe not fired, but her services are no longer being rendered. They were saying that the ICC probe is just gone. Like, it's not even in space. It's not in that location any longer. Hopefully this is just something temporary in the patch, but they also stated that the oh, that was an interesting glitch. The Kovalex mission is still there, but the Kovalex station now has a new room. The Good Ending, which I showed in one of the videos, I think it was PI Mission and Shenanigans or something to that effect. They were saying that that is still there. So Kovalex PI Mission is still available, but the ICC probe isn't. And that's kind of disappointing. You know, it's kind of like it's a little dumbfounding as to why they would take it out, because it was a good kind of filler mission. You know, like you're going around and kind of gave you a reason to do more of the ICC comm arrays, as you had someone there tangibly, you know, speaking to you about it and saying how much of a scourge, you know, it is to not be able to get up and leave on your own. You know, to the point where she's like, "Hey, random ship, help!" You know, and oh, where did I just go? Oh, I'm still in here. So that's a little bit of bad news to be coupled in with the little bit of good news for the Evocati tests that are currently ongoing. Now, given the fact that the ICC mission is at least temporarily removed, that makes me think that we have at least a good couple more weeks, easily a couple more weeks until 3.0 comes out. I personally am guessing closer to Christmas, if not even the New Year, and it really pains me to say that. But I could be wrong. The guys at SIG are such hard workers, you know. I mean, they're giving up some of their weekends to do this stuff, overtime up the yin yang. So if there are any SIG employees for whatever fucking reason that are actually watching and listening to this, first, thank you for all your hard work. Keep up all the great work. And, you know I joke in saying, come on, give it to me, you've had it for too long, I'm anxious, da 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 da. I fully understand that game development is not an easy beast. It does have many heads, many facets, a lot of which may not even be within control of the developer who is working on it currently. You know, there's a lot of moving parts. Whoa. There's a lot of moving parts, especially in a game like this that has so many systems and so many, you know, things that are going on at any given time. So I totally get that. But given that it is alpha and PTU stands for Public Test Universe, I personally think getting it out to the PTU sooner rather than later could be better for development. You know, having more people to work on it, although I understand why they haven't, because being in the Evocati is definitely an honor, and it's definitely something that the people who are in it, I'm sure, take it seriously as they should. I mean, very seriously. I mean, there's basically been almost 0 leaks, really, especially compared to the other Evocati tests that have occurred previously. This was such a dry Evocati in terms of leaks, which is it's a pro and a con. It's a pro in that, you know, the naysayers like Derek Shithead Smart don't get to, you know, try to aggravate the rest of us with. But at the same time, I kind of see it as a detriment because myself, as a backer, I would actually rather see the footage and see these systems, bugs and all, because that at least tells me, you know, hey, look at the stuff that's being worked on. You know, ATV definitely does a good job of showing us things. You know, it's not a criticism on ATV at all. I mean, really, it's not necessarily a criticism per se. It's just, I want to see these things that are giving you guys trouble. I want to see the footage and the silly things that can come about it, like players getting spaghettification or spaghettified at Port Olisar, and because that kind of stuff really puts me at ease, and it makes it like, oh, okay, so that's why 3.0 is not out yet. Because it seems like the mistake that that ATV makes quite regularly is they show functional assets and functional systems, and I mean, obviously the point is to show the game in a functional state, but you know, I want more information on the things that are holding it up. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love seeing the things that are done and are complete, and having these things to look forward to, and having some of these systems explained. You know, I dig that, I really do. But at the same time, you know, when we're going on, you know, what, 5 months over the internal rough projected dates. And again, I'm not complaining that it's been 5 months since those dates, because it clearly said it's an estimation. It's nothing that's set in stone. But given the footage that we have seen, I mean, it looks like everything is functioning. It looks like everything is working. That's why I really like Bug Smashers personally, because it's showing you the things that they're being faced with and you know, defeating, overcoming. You know, I want more of that. Maybe not even necessarily showing how you know, they go ahead and squash the bugs, although I do like that. I would like if they kept that in. But I want to see more of the things that are stopping them. I want to see the blockers. I want to see the glitches. I want to see the bugs. I want to see, you know, what it is that made it go beyond the timeline that you guys, you know, had figured it would take. That's all. You know, and again, I'm not coming down or saying anything negative because it's past a rough projected internal date. I understand things change and some things can take longer than expected, and you know, this is a dependency on something else that we're waiting on that also is suffering from bugs that we can't progress with until a bug in something else has been fixed. I totally get that. I'm not upset about that it's gone, you know, longer than the projection. I just show me, tell me. You know, that's why I showed those videos of the 3.0 sneak peek with the issues, because it's like, look, this is the reason why. Sure, they've got, you know, an impressive amount of things already functioning and in the game, but I want to know what's holding it up. And again, holding it up in the sense of like us just not having a period, not holding it up in, oh, it's 5 months late. Because obviously, again, that was not a date that was set in stone. That's a, well, given the fact that we have to do task X and task W was pretty similar, and task W only took us 2 months, so we think task X will take us 2 months. Totally makes sense and totally understandable. I mean, how else are you going to come up, you know, with a way to do just that? You got to guess. You got to, you know, kind of take a slight liberty with what you think it may be. But just show us. That's all. I want to see the things. But back to some good news. They were saying how, let me pull it up before I start going off about it. Hold on. Give me 2 seconds. Where's my saved posts? It's gotta be... What the fuck? Where are my saved posts? Saved! Here we go. Found it! Yaha! Sorry about that. Alright. So while that's loading, let me jump back into my ship. I don't know why I took out the Mustang Omega. I mean, I'm gonna get ripped to shreds, but fuck it. So back to some good news about 3.0. The Aurora does in fact haul cargo. Only thing is, it may not necessarily be visible. But on the other hand, that's also not necessarily a bad thing, because as an Aurora pilot, if you are hauling a couple boxes of stuff, nobody will know. So the Aurora, you can buy the cargo boxes from the trade kiosks. That's the word I was trying to think of, kiosk. So you can buy those boxes from the kiosks, either at Olisar, Grimhex, or Levski. So 1 SCU of cargo equals 100 units. So if you have 1 SCU of aluminum, you've got 100 units of aluminum. So just so that makes sense. So you can have 6 SCU of cargo on the Aurora, which will effectively be 600 units of whatever material or materials that may be, and but you won't be able to manually bring it in to a ship like the Aurora, as with the stairs. When you try to enter it, the character just automatically drops it. So you won't be able to physically bring anything into the Aurora that you have to carry. But if you buy something at a kiosk, it will basically attach to the exterior of the Aurora, but it won't be visible as external storage of cargo has not been fleshed out nor implemented yet. So again, that's kind of a good thing if you are hauling stuff and you don't want it to be known. At quick glance, it'll look like it's just you and your Aurora. Whoops. So that's actually somewhat good news for the Aurora pilots out there who want to do shipping, cargo hauling, and don't know, well, it's good news for Auroras who want to haul cargo. Is basically what I'm trying to say. So the Mustangs are also going to be able to hold cargo. Assuming it's going to be the same as the Aurora, you're not going to be able to see it, nor will you be able to manually bring anything in, as your character will drop it as previously stated. But again, not necessarily a bad thing, especially in a if you're in a Mustang Beta or a Mustang Alpha who don't exactly have the most protected hulls. That might actually be a great way to sneak cargo in and out of certain areas. Now, whether you'll be able to see it, or let me rephrase that, whether the NPCs or pirates will be able to see it is a different story, as it'll be more than likely that they will, as on the game side, it's more of a binary question. Is there cargo? Yes for 1, 0 for no. Something like that. So obviously, if there's a ship flying around that has that binary enabled with cargo on it, that's what the pirate's looking for in the NPC, as opposed to another player who actually needs to physically, visually see it. Also, speaking of NPCs, there are a bunch of NPCs at Olisar and Levski, and from what I have been told, it really breathes life into those two areas, especially Levski, from what I was told. Again, though, NPCs don't really do much at this point in time. They do walk around. They are just in Port Olisar. They're not flying around or going to and from any of the ports yet. But at this point, honestly, I don't really mind. I'm actually just more excited to actually start seeing NPCs. Because I think that's really going to make it look better. It's not going to look like a ghost town or a ghost probe where there was an accident, like Kovalex or something, where some smugglers just happened to crash the damn thing because they fucked up the security protocols or what have you. God, this fight is taking much longer than I had anticipated. Let's see, what other good news can I bring to you? So again, back to the FPS, he's saying, really it bounces anywhere between like 7 and 65. Yeah, there we go. Fuck you, buddy. I'm not your buddy, guy. I'm not your guy, friend. I'm not your friend, buddy. Let's see, speaking of, where did that probe go? That comm array. I thought I was near one. Oh, there it is. Let's see what kind of damage I just took. But like I said, with the FPS, the guy says it can go as low as 7 frames in a full server to 65 in a fresh, but his average is about 30 to 60 in a player server. And he says it's by far a significant improvement compared to 2.63, which, as you may or may not know, is the version that is currently live. Whoa! Which I am also playing currently. Let me see if I can actually park this damn thing. Alright. What else? So Miles, Eckhart, and Rudo are at Levski and Grim Hex, respectively. So much like most, if not all of us knew, Miles Eckhart is alive and well in Levski, and Rudo, which I guess is going to be the criminal mission giver, is going to be at Grimhex. Now that says something kind of interesting, because from one of the Gamescom demos, the Gamescom demo from 2016, Sig and them undertook a mission by Miles to go to, I think it was Levski. No, where'd they go? Selin? Yella? They went to one of the moons to go retrieve a black box, but Miles Eckhart ended up double-crossing them. So I was always under the impression that Miles was going to be like the bad guy mission giver, and he would just be at Levski. So that's information and news to me. Rudo is going to be the criminal mission giver, and Rudo is going to be some sort of like a hologram. I don't recall if Rudo is a male or a female. I think it was a male. Miles, obviously is a male. He's at the bar in Levski. And currently in the 3.0 Evocati patch that they're playing, Rudo and Miles are actually disabled. And no, I don't mean they can't walk properly. They are actually disabled. They are not something that can be activated or gotten missions from just yet. So again, another reason why I'm of the opinion it's not going to be until around Christmas when it comes out for at least PTU. So back to the missions like I was talking about previously about Tessa and the ICC probe. He says they are not in 3.0 as far as he knows. There's no ICC probe to quantum travel to, which is such a bummer. Like, I really dig Tessa, our favorite junior cartographer. He said there's only 4 comm array satellites and only 1 Cry-Astro station around Crusader. There's only 1. Now, whether there are no other Cry-Astros, which is what this kind of seems to be alluding to, I cannot verify for 100% certainty, but I'd have to assume that there would probably be 1 Cry-Astro per major, quote, sector. So 1 Cry-Astro at Crusader, 1 Cry-Astro around Levski, so on and so forth. What else? Again, the security mission is not on the mission board app for Security Post Korea in 3.0, which, again, that's kind of sucks. But on some more slightly good news, in 3.0, it is now fully confirmed the Aegis Gladius has 3, count them, 3 size 3 hardpoints. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker! Sweet evil Jesus, tap dancing Christ, yes! That is going to turn this little guy into quite a force to be reckoned with. Could you imagine throwing like 3 Mantis repeaters on this thing? Oh my god! Or even 3 Panthers, or 2 Panthers and a gimbaled Badger. I'm now happy that I hung on to my Gladius Valiant, as that's going to be awesome, having now 3 size 3s on the Gladius. So that is some good news that I can confirm. Again, there's no PvP at the moment in Evocati, as again they're taking the time to kind of test the more new and harder, not harder, but I guess really just the new activities, new abilities, and by that I mean like areas to go to. What else? So they've also improved traversal in Evocati, apparently, compared to the first iteration of 3.0. They were having issues where they would crash when trying to do a quantum jump. That has since been remedied. However, the ships don't have enough fuel to reach other planets. So by other planets, you're really only going to be able to get to the new planetary bodies that are coming in, as according to this Evocati player, the closest planet, which would be Hurston, is over 32 million kilometers away, and ArcCorp is over 42 million miles away. Now, that's also a bit of some interesting news, because they're basically saying ArcCorp is in 3.0. Now, don't get too excited. I don't think it's to the same degree. In fact, I know it's not to the same degree that we saw in the CitizenCon demo. But even just having it as a point that you can jump to, or having it as a point, even though the ships don't have enough fuel to jump to it, I think is huge. You know, it's almost like that little carrot in, you know, dangling away, like, oh, you're almost there, you're almost there. Microtech was also removed from the, at least from the current 3.0 branch that they're in. Delamar and Levski are the furthest moons, is the furthest moon that can be reached, as it is 800,000 kilometers away. So that gives you a slight idea of just how massive and how far apart some of these things are. And for Evocati and news, that's really about it. You know, outside of the constant Mobiglass bugs that they have, like I said, the shopping experience can basically be considered a complete feature. It's hassle-free. Again, minus the Mobiglass bugs.
Welcome to the neighborhood. Second-class junior cartographer Tessa Bannister.
So shopping is, for all intents and purposes, done.
Behind all the ICC scan probes in the area.
I,
These little guys see.
you know, and it's like as these news pieces kind of slowly drip out to us, that just makes me that much more excited for it. I mean, this is going to be a huge turning point in video games, especially with the recent clusterfuck debacle that EA had with Battlefront 2. Star Citizen is in a position to really change the way the industry works and functions as a whole. Just for the size and scope that they are going for, and the amount of modularity and customization, and all the neat ass ships that they're putting in, I'm stoked. I am nothing short of absolutely stoked. So I figured, given the news that Tessa is no longer, or at least currently, no longer in the current patch, I figured, you know what, before we end the video, let's do a quick ICC mission run. I hope you guys are as excited as I am for 3.0. I am like as giddy as a little schoolgirl. I really, really am. I'm in awe with what they're trying to accomplish. I really, really, really am. You know, being able to go from, a bed on a satellite or whatever. I am having such a hard time talking today. Apologies. You know, aside from going, basically going from the station to your ship to jumping to a planet and landing on its surface. I mean, that is something I am just so looking forward to. I know a lot of people are. Now knowing and having official confirmation that there is in fact a racetrack outpost also makes me excited. It makes me wonder if we'll be able to bet, you know, or have wagers on who will win. You know, if there is, how will that structure go? Hopefully with 3.0 we're gonna have a better, easier party system. I heard I heard a little bit of information on that. That the party system will be easier to use, and you'll be able to join the same instances with friends a bit easier. But I haven't exactly heard anything more than, well, that. But that's okay, there's still time. There's still time for them to flesh this out and give us the information we're chomping at the bit for. At least I am. I don't know. Yeah, I'm chomping at the bit. As you can tell, my brain, I am scatterbrained. I'm all over the goddamn place, so apologies about that. But yeah, I think that is basically all the news that I have. There are some unconfirmed estimations as to when 3.0 will come out. Some are saying by November 31st or shortly after the anniversary sale. Others, like I think, is going to be closer to like around Christmas time or the New Year. And then there are others who think it's not going to be out for at least a few more months. And then there's Derek Smart, who's a piece of shit asshole dumbfuck, who thinks it's a scam and it's not coming out and that it's vaporware, even though we have a plethora of evidence to the contrary. So, also try not to take the bait on those Derek Smart cultists. A lot of them are really just out there purposely to just rustle your jimmies, so don't let them. Keep your jimmies safe. You know, I saw, what was it, one thing where someone was saying, oh, 3.0 is never going to come out because it's a scam and it was never anything to begin with. And it's like, well, have you even seen the footage, like, currently? And he was like, oh yeah, all the pre-rendered da-da-da. I was like, no, like the game that's currently available. And he's like, it's not. It's like, well, yeah, huh? And then you show them videos of shit like this, and they're like, oh, well, you know, there's like nothing to it. And it's like, well, no shit, Sherlock. That's what an alpha is. It's in alpha. It's still in development, you know? So don't let those artards get to you. Just laugh, smile, and wave. Say, okay, well, then go back to playing LOD. Go play Derek Smart's game if you think he if you think he knows what the fuck he's doing. Or Point of Defense, right? Is that his shit ass game? Point of Defense or something like that. I know it's OD. I know it's like LOD or POD. Point of Defense. Land of Defense. Lurid I can't. Obfuscation is the word I'm looking for, but I've ruined it, so I'm just gonna leave it where it lies. So speaking of, I think I'm going to leave this video here. I think I've rambled and gone off on enough tangents for the day. I hope this was at least semi-newsworthy. I hope you learned at least one new thing from this video. If you did, please leave a like. If you liked the video, also please leave a like. If you want to see more videos like this where it's kind of more information and me flying around, you know, dicking around and giving you my my take on certain things, say so. Or if you're such a smarty pants and you think you can do better, leave some ideas down below as to what you'd like to see. I'm more than happy to, you know, bring to you what you want, as that is part of the whole purpose of this channel. So, thank you very much for watching. All you beautiful bastards out there, you have yourselves a wonderful day. This has been Will. Peace.